Hey guys, this is Ronnie here from Earlybird Farms. Today we out here on the side of our property. We're about to plant our little mini orchard here. I was going to take you along and show you what all I'm planting and where I'm at and how I'm doing it and everything. So let's show you what we got, what kind of varieties and everything. Okay guys, if you remember one of my farm tour videos, I'll try to leave a link to it in the top here so you can watch it. But I planted these two pawpaw trees. I got one right here, and then I got one down here. This ground stays fairly moist as the water runs down to this creek down here. But here's the other pawpaw tree. I dug these up at a friend's house along the creek bank. Pawpaw trees grow usually along creek banks, and so I think the moist type soil here will be good for them. And the rest of my orchard, I decided to plant along this. I've set these out the way I think I want them. Spacing is roughly 15 foot apart. Most of the trees suggest 15 foot spacing. A few of them suggest 20 foot spacing. So these are off to the edge. The sun comes up here. This is the east. My house, the front of my house faces the north. The back of my property is the south. And then this way right here is west. So these trees will get daylight pretty much all day long. So this tree is a peach tree. This is a Alberta peach. And this is a Bella Georgia peach. So we got two peach trees right here on the front corner. And this is a peach tree that was given to me by my father-in-law. He got it from some lady. And all we know is they called it an old-timey peach. So I don't know what variety it is really. And this back tree is a plum tree. This is a Burbank Plum. Needs a pollinator. So we have a Santa Rosa plum. And hopefully those will pollinate each other. This one's self-pollinating. And on the back, on the top corner here, we have a pear. This is called a sugar pear. I cannot find any information online about a full-size pear tree that's called a sugar pear. I find dwarf trees, but as you can see, this tree gets 40 foot tall, so this is not a dwarf tree. It needs a pollinator. So it's hard to research some of these things to find out what cross-pollinates when you can't find the variety. But I had this pineapple pear here, and this says this needs a pollinator. So I'm hoping these two can pollinate each other. If not, we'll buy some more. We'll have room to put more in here. These two right here are apple trees. As you know, I'm in the south, and I'm in the Piedmont of South Carolina. So I'm not in the foothills region where apples are grown a lot, so you have to look for different varieties that doesn't have a long chill hour. So when you look at Clemson Extension, when you look at Clemson's website, I'll leave a link below to apple trees that do good in the south. But this is a Yellow Delicious, also known as a Golden Delicious, and this is a pollinator for many other tree varieties. And so we got this Arkansas Black apple tree, which fruits late in the season, and I think the Yellow Delicious, these are, according to the Clemson website, these are, they have them categorized as A, B, and C, and D, as far as like how they produce fruit, and these are C, so these produce late in the season. And then I'm gonna get a few more of these Arkansas Black, and I'm also gonna spread them out throughout the property here for wildlife and deer. But also I'm gonna add some more here, and I want to get some earlier varieties. Same thing with peaches. I'll get a couple peach trees that produce earlier in the season and late in the season based off of what I got. Peach trees are self-pollinating. They don't need more trees to pollinate, but it helps to have multiple trees, because that helps it produce more fruit. Just one tree is not good. This one ripens in August. This is the Alberta peach, and so this is a freestone flesh, which I prefer freestone. Freestone means that the fruit will not attach to will come off from the pit easy. That is a yellow flesh fruit. This one ripens in July, so this one's a month earlier than the Alberta, and this one is a white flesh. So pretty excited about both of these. And like I said, I don't know about this other one. So we got fruit in July, fruit in August, and then we have fruit from the apple trees all the way to I think these drop in October. And I'm not sure on the pears. The pears were the hardest thing to research. So I'm basically going to measure these out. I want them perfectly in a row, or as close as I can get it. And then I'm going to see, I got to slide these over and row with this. And then I'm going to have a row in between this other pawpaw tree. Another thing I know about this pawpaw tree, both of these pawpaw trees come from the same location. So pawpaw trees need to be set. They need to have a tree from a different, unrelated tree to pollinate them. So I'm gonna have to either buy one from somewhere else, or I'm gonna have to find one in the woods wild, which I don't have much more time to do that. But I gotta have a different unrelated strain. It doesn't matter about male female, it just matters about unrelated. So you can go 20 miles away and find one that's not related, and hopefully that'll do good. And hopefully these are going to be in full sun here too, and hopefully these will do all right, because most of the time, like I said, these are on creek banks and that type of soil. So I'm gonna set the camera up here. I'm gonna dig my holes, measure them out, dig my holes, and then I'm gonna fill it up with some dirt. Put some good dirt in there in the holes. You can see we don't have very good soil here. I'm trying to just make this as deep and as wide as I can, and then I'm gonna put some regular dirt in here. Roots are not too bad on this tree, but I'm gonna dip it down in here. I wanted to shake it off to get all the roots loose. That way I can kind of Alright guys, I want to share something with you. If you have a tree or a plant that's root bound, like I was showing you earlier, you take it, wash it in that water, and then look how all those roots, they're still intact. I didn't cut any roots, I didn't break any of them off, but now I can lay them in here in my hole and they're spread out. And this tree you can see how root bound it was by how many roots is on that. But now this tree has a good chance of surviving. I'm gonna take some of my compost soil mix, place around it, and then I'll cover it up with this native dirt, and then I'll pour what was in here on top. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and do it now. Now this tree has a good chance of surviving, and we've gotten all the roots that were root bound broke up, and we didn't have to cut anything, and no chance of damaging the tree. So I've never done this before. This is something that I just thought of today. Maybe you've already been doing it. Maybe other people are doing it. I'm sure somebody's done it before. But you wash your roots. Not only are you washing them, you're also saturating them with water. And I just think it's a good it gives the tree the best chance to live. But you only got a few more weeks to get these trees in the ground. They already got buds on them, and we're gonna prune them back just a little bit, and that'll cause the roots to start growing. And we'll take some of these leaders off. One thing I want to mention about building soil, when I first moved here, that tan looking soil at the bottom was what all my soil looked like here. And I've been here 2 years, and you can see I'm now building a layer of topsoil. That soil down there is a heavy clay. They call it bull tile around here, and you can see it's got a little bit of sand in it, but it's mostly clay. It turns to brick in the summertime. It can rain. And it can be hard as a brick in the summertime, and then you can get one rain, and then it's slippery. But it doesn't really stick to you much like red clay. It's got a lot of silt in it. But this right here, the reason why this soil's like this, because I finally got this is just junk grass in my yard here. Some of it's St. Augustine, also known as buffalo grass. Some of it's that Chinese stilt grass, and there's just all kind of random weeds. But the reason why this is doing this is because I cut the grass and I leave my clippings, and that builds your soil. And you can see it's not the best in the world yet, but it's better than it was. And you can go to areas, I still have areas in my yard that are bald, and they look just like that tan right there. And if you can see, this is a good, that dark area right there is a good 3 or 4 inches of topsoil that I'm built now. Just from cutting the grass, mulching it, leaving the clippings laying, and that compost down, and that turns into good soil health. Over the years, I'm hoping that the weeds will be less, and I'll get more grass in here. I would like my yard to be a mixture of clover and different types of cool season grasses, and maybe some native warm season grasses. I also have this stuff here. It grows really good in this tan stuff. It's called deer tongue. It's native to my area, especially up in the front part of my yard. It grows like crazy there, and a cool thing about it is it has a hint of a vanilla flavor to it, and they used to grind it up and put it in cigarettes. So I think they've done that until recently. So what I'm doing now is once I dig my hole pretty deep, pretty wide, about 2 times as wide as the container, about twice as deep, and then I fill it back in with some of my compost dirt, and then I take some of the native soil and I pile it up in the middle. And essentially what I'm doing is creating a mound right there in the middle. So when I wash those roots in that water and I set them on top, they'll kind of spread out like that, like an octopus, over top of that mound. Alright guys, so got all the orchard planted today, 9 trees. Still got a few more things to do, but we're gonna wrap this video up. Still got to put some weed mat around them and then go get some compost and put on top of them. And eventually I'll do some wood chips. There's one more thing I wanted to show you. Talked about this in another video, but I'm going ahead and doing it now. For a long time I've wanted to take a cedar tree. I got a cedar pole that's completely burnt. It was when they clear cut this back here, they cut all the cedars down and they burn everything. When they burn it, it charred this cedar pole and it looks really cool. So I had this idea to take the cedar pole and stick it in the ground, and then I was going to put a birdhouse. I was going to saw the top off flat, about 6 foot high, and put a birdhouse on top. And then I was going to take some metal top rails from chain link fence and put 2 on each side going one way, and then perpendicular put 2 on each side going the other way. And my plan was to hang a few bird feeders from the ends, and maybe 2 hummingbird feeders, maybe 2 bird feeders, something along those lines. All right, the orchard is all planted. I put cardboard up around for weed mat, and I've put some of my composted wood chips with garden material, stuff that I've composted over the last year, to put on top of it to help enrich it. Now I do want to note right here, this is something I've been planning on doing for a while. What that is a cedar pole that I found on the property. It was cut and then they burned the property, so it's charred a little bit. The idea with this is I'm gonna put a birdhouse on top of it. That's why it's flat, cut off flat. And then just right up under that, I'm gonna put 2 top rail fences, like galvanized metal, 2 on each side going one way, and then perpendicular to that. And I'll bolt it to the pole. And what I'm gonna do is on the ends of all 4 of those, I will hang bird feeders on 2 of them and hummingbird feeders on the other 2. And then around this, I plan to plant a pollinator garden. So as you can imagine, it's really close to my orchard, and hopefully the idea is to attract more bees to it. I'm planning, probably plant some stuff like hyssop or purple coneflower. So it'll be for the birds too, not just for bees, but it'll be for the birds. So purple coneflower, black-eyed Susans, things along those lines that produce seeds and have lots of color and lots of blooms. So that's my idea anyway. Anybody got any other ideas, feel free to leave me a comment below. But as you can see, we got 3 rows of trees there. We have 8, 9, 10. So we got, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11 trees here. So 2 of the trees were already here, and I planted 9 more. 2 of them were the pawpaw trees. And we planted 2 pear, 2 plum, 2 apple, and 3 peaches. So I hope they do good. We'll see what happens. Look at that duck flying out of the swamp there. You can barely see them going through the trees there. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all stopping by. We'll see you on the next adventure.